Jai Hind to all of you. I am Updesh Kumar Jaiswal, working as an assistant professor in CSC department, Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. Today, I am going to deliver a lecture on topic visual pleasing components composition in screen designing. In today's lecture, I will discuss about the meaning of visually pleasing composition on a computer screen, different qualities used for providing visually pleasing composition. There are different qualities like balance, symmetry, regularity, predictability, sequentiality, economy, unity, proportion, simplicity, grouping. So, the first question which arises in our mind is that what do you understand by visually pleasing composition on a screen? What is the meaning of this? Visually pleasing composition draw attention by influencing your mind even though you are unaware of it. Visually pleasing composition convey a positive message. If a screen is visually pleasing, then customer feel happiness and it gives a positive message clearly and quickly to the customer, user, people, client, whatever. The visually pleasing composition does not focus on the words on the screen, but on the perception of the structure created by qualities such as spacing, shapes, colors, intensity, and relationship of screen elements to one another. If there is lack of visually pleasing composition, then it will be unclear to the meaning of the content to the customer, and customer will be confused and slow down. Graphic design experts have done many research and derive a number of qualities or principles those constitute the visually pleasing appearance in the screen designing. So, different qualities which researcher had searched are balance, symmetry, regularity, predictability, sequentially, economy, unity, proportion, simplicity, and grouping. I will discuss each one by one. Balance. Create screen balance by providing an equal weight of screen elements from left to right, then top to bottom. In this diagram, this is the first screen and this is the second screen. First screen is the balance and another screen is disbalance, that is instability. So, what are the features balance screen have? Balance, as is shown in figure 3.1, is showing a equilibrium. During balance, the design elements have an equal weight from left to right and top to bottom. Balance is generally informal, so elements of different colors, sizes and shapes should be positioned to set the proper relationship. By using this concept, proper relationship will be developed between the elements. Balance on a screen is achieved through centering the titles and maintaining an equal weighting of components on each side of the horizontal as well as vertical axis. I already shown the diagram. Dark colors, unusual shapes and larger objects are heavier, whereas light colors, regular shapes and small objects are treated as lighter. In web-based design, vertical or left to right balance is usually the most important concept. Web pages are generally scrollable, thereby shifting the horizontal or top to bottom. Balance point is obtained when the screen is scrolled, but horizontal balance is more difficult to maintain. The opposite of balance is instability. The design elements likely ready to fall down. This is the diagram by which I can show the balance property and its opposite property, that is called as the instability. Now, second guideline, second principle is symmetry. Symmetry also creates the visual pleasing appearance to the customer. Create symmetry by replicating elements left and right of the screen center line. Symmetry is shown in figure 3.2 is axial duplication. A unit on one side of the center line is exactly replicated on the other side. This is the first screen and this is the second screen. In the first screen, symmetry property is observed, but in the second screen, asymmetry property is observed. This exact replication creates formal balance. Due to replication, formal balance is developed. Our eye tend to perceive something as more as compressed or compact when it is symmetric. The opposite of symmetry is the asymmetry. Regularity. This is the one screen in which regularity property is shown, and this is the another screen where irregularity property is shown. Create regularity by setting the standard and consistency. Regularity is shown in figure 3.3 is a uniformity of elements based on some principles or plans. Regularity in screen design is achieved by spacing, horizontal and vertical alignment points. It is also achieved by using elements similar in shape, color, size and spacing. It is shown in the figure. The opposite of regularity is irregularity, that exists when no such plan or principle is made. Now, next guideline, next property, next principle is the predictability. Create predictability by being consistent and following conventional orders or arrangements. Predictability is shown in figure 3.4 in another slide. Next slide, suggest a highly traditional order or plan. Here in this diagram, predictability is shown. The opposite of predictability is the spontaneity. Here in the leftmost icon, then title bar, icon, then menu bar is shown. Below the menu bar, different controls are shown, and all the controls are of the same size. Then button will come, and after one button, next button, next button. So everything is predictable. If I am watching this, then I can predict the next element. If I am seeing this screen, I can also predict the next screen. But in case of spontaneity, nothing is predictable. All is spontaneous. Viewing on screen enables one to predict or plan how another screen will look. In screen design, predictability is enhanced through design consistency. Viewing part of a screen enables one to predict how the rest of a screen will look. The opposite of predictability is spontaneity. I already told that suggests no future plan and thus an inability to predict the structure of the remainder of a screen. The structure of the other screen will be spontaneous and not predictable. I already explained this diagram. Next property is sequentiality. Provide sequentiality by arranging elements to guide the eye. Sequentially is shown in figure 3.5. It is a plan of presentation to guide the eye through the screen in a logical and rhythmic order. Sequencing can be achieved by alignment, spacing and grouping. The opposite of sequentiality is randomness, whereby an arrangement and flow cannot be detected. The eye tends to move first to the element listed above and then from one to another. To get better sequentiality, the eye tends to be attracted toward a brighter element before one less bright. Isolated elements before elements in a group. Graphics before text. So graphics will be represented firstly, then text will be shown. Color before black and white color. Highly saturated colors before those less saturated. Dark areas we will show the dark area before the light area. A big element, then a small. Unusual shape before the usual shape. Big objects before little objects. So these orders will provide the eye so that eye tends to the attracted towards the screen. In this screen, the property of sequentiality is obtained. Everything is sequential and all the property earlier discussed are obtained here. But in case of randomness, those properties are not available here. Next property is economy. Next guideline is economy. Provide economy by using few styles, few display techniques and few colors as minimum as possible to reduce the cost. Economy is shown in figure 3.6 in the next PPT. Is the inexpensive, cheap and judicious use of display elements to get the message across as simple as possible. So, economy in screen design means mobilizing just enough display elements and techniques to communicate to the desired message and no more. The opposite of economy is complexity or intricacy, the use of many elements just because they exist. In this screen, few style is used, so cost will be less. Few design will be less used, so cost will be very less. So it is economically good screen, but here everything changed. Many style, many color, many shapes are used. So here intricacy is obtained in this screen. I already told the opposite of economy is intricacy, that is the complexity. Now next guideline, next property is unity. Create unity by using similar sizes, shapes or colors for related information. Unity is also shown in figure 3.7 in next PPT is a coherence and a totality of elements that is usually all one piece. In screen design, similar sizes, shapes and colors promote the unity. In this screen, the first screen, unity property is obtained. The opposite of unity word is the fragmentation. Here all the elements are nearby, all are of the equal shape. So this is showing the property of unity, but they are much away. So they are showing as a fragmentation. I already told that in screen design, similar sizes, shapes and colors promote the unity. With unity, the elements seem to be belong together and tie up. So completely they are seen as one thing. Leave less space between elements of a screen than the space left at the margin to provide the unity. Unity should exist between the related screens and website screen. The opposite of unity is fragmentation, each piece preventing its own character. I already explained this diagram, unity versus fragmentation. The next guideline, the next property is proportion. Create windows and grouping of data or text with creative pleasing proportion. Down through the edges, people and cultures had preferred proportion relationship. What constitutes beauty in one culture is not necessarily considered the same by another culture. But some proportional shapes have stood the test of time and are found in greatness today. In screen design, creative pleasing proportion should be considered for major components of the screen, including window size, web page size, graphics, and grouping of data or text. Marcus in 1992 described the following shapes illustrated in figure 3.8 as an artful pleasing. These are the different shapes for providing the pleasing proportions: square, square root of 2, golden rectangle, square root of 3, double square. So according to Marcus, these are the different proportions. The first proportion is, and popular proportion is, square, 1:1, the simplest of proportion. It has an attention getting quality and suggests stability as well as durability. Square root of 2, 1:1.414. This property is generally used in book design. An open book size has this proportion with the individual pages of it. The square root of 2 has been adopted as a standard paper size in many countries of the world except United States, which exclude this ratio. Golden rectangle, 1:1.618, an old proportion obtained in 5th century BC. Square root of 3, 1:1.732, used less frequently than the other proportion because its narrowness gives it a distinctive and well marked shape. Double square, 1:2. In Japan, the tatami mat used for floor covering usually comes in this proportion. While these pleasing shapes have passed the test of time, not everything we counter conforms to these principles. These are the pleasing proportion: square, square root of 2, golden rectangle, square root of 3, double square. Now, next visually pleasing components is the simplicity, which is provided in the screen designing. Optimize the number of elements on a screen within limits of clarity. Simplicity is shown in figure 3.9 given in the next PPT. Is directness and singleness of form. Simplicity is a combination of elements that result in case of comprehending the meaning of the pattern. Minimize alignment points, especially horizontal or column. Provide standard grids of horizontal and vertical lines to position elements. The opposite of simplicity is complexity. This screen is simple. All the elements are nearly equal size and they are separated with equal distance. So this screen is showing the property of simplicity, but another screen which is given below is showing the property of complexity. This is the first screenshot of the first screen, and this is the screenshot of the second screen. Here the property of complexity is observed. The next visual pleasing components, grouping. While designing the good screen, grouping screen elements help in setup of the structure, meaningful relations and meaningful form. Grouping provide functional collection of associated elements. In addition to providing creative appeal, past researcher has found that grouping supports in information recall and results in a faster screen search. It also provides meaningful titles for each grouping. So we should provide meaningful titles for each grouping. Visually active groupings provide sufficient separation between groupings through liberal use of white spaces, line borders around the groups. Here, grouping is done, which is indicated by bold boxes. Here, one bold box, so one group. This is the second group. This is another group. So, by this border, we are creating the different groups on the screen between the screen elements. Now, next point, which is very important to understand, various device-based control. Device-based controls are also known as input devices, are the mechanism through which people communicate their desires to the computer system. Some of the device-based controls are given below: trackball, joystick, graphic tablet, light pen, touch screen, voice, that is the microphone, mouse and keyboard. Here in this diagram, different input devices are shown: keyboard, scanner, joystick, mouse, light pen, webcam and microphone. To control the system, to give the input to the system, these devices are required depending upon the situation. Various tasks performed by the device-based control. By using these devices, these types of tasks are performed: to point at an object on the screen, to select the object or identify it as the focus of the attention, to drag an object across the screen, to draw something free from on the screen, to track or follow a moving object, to orient or position an object, to enter or manipulate data or information. So, by using input devices, these tasks are performed. So, in my today lecture, these are the references which I have used. Thank you to everyone. So, I have discussed in today's lecture about the visual pleasing composition in the screen designing. Jai Hind, and thank you again to all of you.